Sam Darley here, and to wrap up the draft names for the NFL, I'm going to save the best team for last. My Houston Texans. Last year they had a hell of a year under head coach Bill O'Brien, his first year, taking over after the Texans tanked 2013 to get rid of Kubiak. I believe that. I really do. I mean, they went from 2-14 to 9-7. Virtually doing nothing in free agency, getting pretty much nothing from the draft class of 2014, and yet they came a game away from making the playoffs. Oh, I also forgot they changed quarterbacks 4 times. The biggest need for the Texans is obviously they got to find their franchise quarterback. Is it Ryan Mallett? Is it Hoyer? Is it in the draft? I mean, I'm beating a dead horse with the Texans on the quarterback situation. But outside of the quarterback situation for the Texans, they need to go get they need to go get offensive line. Their depth at offensive line, I'm not being funny here, it's very thin. That's being an understatement. That's putting it lightly. Their defense is loaded. They're loaded on defense. This is going to be probably an offense-heavy draft. I really believe it's going to be an offense-heavy draft. For the Texans, I'm going to be really shocked to see them taking any defensive players in this draft because their offense is really holding them back from being a Super Bowl contender. And you can talk about the quarterback again. You can talk about the quarterback all you want. If you don't have guys to protect the quarterback and open up holes for Arian Foster, you're gonna be in a world of trouble. I mean, you just are. You've gotta build up the team, and I think O'Brien is gonna do a really good job of doing that. He did a great job last year. He made a real bold move, getting rid of Andre Johnson and Chris Myers, 2 long tenure, very well respected Houston Texans. He brought in Brian Hoyer, who had a great, semi-great stint. Pretty good stint in Cleveland. Mallett's still the wild card. I think he wins the starting job. I think if he's healthy, he could be the franchise quarterback. I really do. I think he's got potential. All these quarterbacks know O'Brien's system very well. If they took a quarterback in this draft again, they'd just be, to me, it'd be like them grasping at straws. I mean, the 3 quarterbacks they have on the roster know the system. They're comfortable in it. If you draft another quarterback, you're going to be going through the same process you went through with Savage last year, and that's just the reality. But outside the quarterback, they are going to need to replace Andre Johnson. That's not going to be easy. I look at Devontae Parker, and I'm seriously praying that he falls to 16th. I mean, Perryman could be a good player. I don't know much about him. I know quite a bit more about Parker than I do about Perryman. Parker, if he falls to 16th and the Texans have a chance to take him, they got to take him. They got to take him. They'd be absolutely stupid not to. It's their offense. I mean, the Texans, I think they're a playoff team. I really do. I think the Houston Texans are legitimate playoff contenders in 2015. But if they're going to become Super Bowl contenders, they've got to absolutely build the offense. Running back, I keep thinking about the running back position. I keep thinking about it because I think when Arian Foster hits his decline, who are we going to have? I know they got Alfred Blue, who's been training hard this offseason. That could be that to me could be a position they address in the draft. I mean, they spoke about it. Bill O'Brien spoke about possibly addressing that position in this draft. I don't know. Maybe they address it. They really need to address their offensive line. They need to get more production, though. They need to get more production from the draft class from last year. They need to get better at player development because the big problem for the Texans is they seem to not develop very well in Houston, but they go to other teams and they help them win Super Bowls. That just frustrates me. O'Brien seems like a good enough coach that he can develop the young talent, and hopefully the young talent they took from last year's draft can develop and contribute to a great 2015. Because if they get great contributions from their second-year players and their draft class after their free agency they had by adding Will Fork, adding Raheem Moore. And Raheem Moore, yes, he had a big blunder against Jacoby Jones in the playoffs a couple of years ago, but he suffered a major injury in 2013, I believe it was. Yeah, 2013. He came back and he said that injury just motivated him to play harder, and he had a great 2014 season. He had he was better in coverage. He got better in tackling. The Texans just have to find a quarterback. You can talk about them being a quarterback away from the Super Bowl, but the reality is they're a little bit more than that. They need wide receiver. They need offensive line. Wild card position is going to be running back. I don't think they take quarterback in this draft. They signed 2 in free agency. It's very doubtful that they take one. And if they do, it's probably going to be either Bryce Petty or Garrett Grayson. And honestly, and I'll just go ahead and say this. If Mariota falls to 16th, I don't see the Texans taking him. Because I don't, that system scares me. It does. It scares me. And honestly, the Texans in 2003, when they took Andre Johnson, he was the 3rd overall pick. Shall I tell you who the 2nd pick was? I know Detroit Lions fans don't want me to tell you this, but with the 2nd pick of the 2003 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions selected quarterback Joey Harrington out of Oregon. Oregon has never produced a top 10 quarterback. And while Mariota possesses the skills to be a top quarterback in this league, you can't guarantee it. Whether you can take a Devontae Parker or another playmaking receiver, you got a good chance to get a good player out of that pick. They need to build up their offense. But like I said, I saved the best for last. Tell me what you think the Texans need. I say offense. Offense. Tell me what you think they need. This has been Sam Darley. Thanks for watching The Sam Darley Show.